All right, I think someone is here.
Yes, how's it going?
What's up, my man? I'm good. I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. How do I sound? Do I sound clear? Do I sound good?
Yeah, you sound cool, man. You sound good. You sound good.
Awesome.
Uh, yes, sir. Um, yeah, this is Where's My Damn Podcast. Welcome everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Um, uh, and on the line right now, I got a very special guest coming from San Jose, California, the one and only Pete Munoz.
Hey, what's up? What's up? How we doing?
Yes, yes. Man, I was a little frantic prior to the show, bro, because I was looking for my AirPod and it's driving me crazy. I can't find it.
Oh,
Oh man, and it's only worse because I'm freaking I can't see it. So I was
I
like,
don't mean to laugh at that, but I
no,
laugh.
no, no. It's cool, man.
I laugh when you laugh. That's the way I do it.
Well, that's the thing with comedy, right? If you can't make fun of yourself,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying? That's kind of goes hand in hand, right? Like I mean, why get into this business if you can't make fun of yourself?
Exactly.
Yeah, because I'm like yeah, a lot of people uh will point out the fact that like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm blind. For those that don't know, I am visually impaired and I do comedy, and um it's fine, like I've heard all the jokes. I've been through it, and I don't let it fuck with me, like I mean, unless you're a fucking asshole, then that's something different, but
Yeah. We
uh
we actually we had a blind guy come to our show one time
yeah.
at Woodham's Lounge. Yeah, he went up and I swear he was the hardest guy to light, to let him know, hey, here's the light. You got to get off stage. He was the hardest guy and he loved it. He
Yeah,
loved it and he just like you, he's heard all the blind jokes and he doesn't get offended, and it's like no one's out to be an asshole.
right.
They're just making you part of the crew, throwing jabs, and that's all it is.
Yeah, yeah. You got to be a little bit lighthearted.
Hmm.
In general too in life, like I
Of
mean,
course.
I think if you walk around, with something stuck up your ass, then life is not gonna be fun.
Nope.
But
Hmm.
let's fucking get into it, man. I met you on this thing called Zoom
Yeah.
few months back, and this dude is hilarious as fuck. Um, and let's talk about it. How long have you been doing comedy, and kind of just break it down, like where you're from, and your background and stuff.
Well, I'm from San Jose, California. I am from the east side of San Jose, California.
East side.
Every east side is that's all you got to say. Um, but now I've been doing stand-up comedy for 14 years. I
Whew.
I had the idea to do it when I was a young kid, I guess, when I started. The way I wanted to do things was kind of the way SNL was done. A bunch of my friends were funny. We had a little group.
Yeah, yeah,
Me, one of my best friends, my younger brother. We just all kind of just like how when you get together with your friends and you just start rolling, things are clicking. Man, we're funny. This is fun. It's fun to just hang out. And that's where I'm very lucky that I'm at the age that there was no internet to take over our mind. We
hmm,
had video games, but man, it took like a whole 2 or 3 years for games to come out.
yeah.
We would beat Mario 2, and then we would just have to read in a magazine that Mario 3 was coming out. So
All
we had
right,
to we had to wait. So we had outside, we had to socialize, we
right.
had to have friends that were brothers because that's how close you were. We just happened to be really into SNL.
Hmm.
Like we had like all the Chris Kattan years, all the good Will Ferrell, Jim Brewer, Tracy Morgan, all that stuff. We would the next day we would talk about it.
Yeah,
and we would do the parts again. We would do the skits. There was an old skit. It was called the Ex Porn Stars. It was Jim Brewer and
Hmm.
Tracy Morgan. They were porn stars that were trying to get regular jobs, and we would just quote that. We still do.
Yeah.
We still quote that all the time. Like and that was just kind of like early on. There was just like, okay. We know how to make people laugh. We know how to get along with people. We can meet strangers and make them laugh.
Yeah.
We can go to school, and that they always say the same thing. The class clown is the jerk,
Yeah.
and I don't think I was that type of person. I just knew how to make people laugh,
Right. Right.
and I don't have very many skills, but I will say that that's one I'm confident to say that I have.
Yeah. So what age exactly was this? Like somewhere around junior high? What exactly what age was this?
Yeah, about that time, it was about, yeah, like sixth, seventh grade,
Mm.
for me, early 90s,
Yeah.
early 90s. And so then like we would just we didn't grow up with cable, so that was kind of all we had.
Right.
We had SNL, and I mean, we had every Disney movie that came out. My mom made sure that we didn't have cable, but we had. It wasn't like we only watched one channel.
Right.
We had plenty of movies, we had plenty of humor, but SNL was kind of like, to me, it was like these guys come up with new things every week.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I can't do that as a comic. I can't come up with new material as a comic.
Yeah.
It takes a lot longer, especially when you're by yourself.
Back in the
But
day when we had like three channels, three or four channels.
yeah, I mean, I don't know who I was or what kind of person I thought I was or what kind of powers I had,
Yeah.
but I used to hit the TV to try to make the signal work. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what I thought, like why hitting the TV would just make it go, yeah, it's gonna
Oh, you
work.
know what? I think I did that. I ended up doing that too.
Yeah, I used to do it all the time, and it was just out of frustration, like, why won't you work,
Yeah.
But yeah, we had that, and so then later on we got cable, and then that's when a lot of specials came out. A lot of people have really good, Comedy Central, da, 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 and I'd have the music,
Yeah.
and it would show like the picture,
Yeah.
it'd fade in the headshot, and you were just like, wow, it was like breaking news but for humor, it was all this just in. And then I remember seeing Pablo Francisco's stand-up special, and I was like,
Mm,
dude,
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's a lot how we are, like that's a lot. We do voices, we're real animated, we're all over
Right.
the stage. I mean, there's times where I've done stand-up. The Sounds like Improv, where I'm at a lot, has one of the biggest stages,
Mm,
and I will use the entire stage.
nice.
I will use the very, very corner of the left stage to talk to the people on the right of me. I
Mm.
will talk at the people on the left about the people on the right and just turn my back, kind of like in a way just to get them to pay attention,
Right. Right.
and so I mean that came out, and I had never seen any stand up before, and then my cousin brought over a George Lopez cassette
Yeah.
to my uncle John's house, my uncle Johnny's house, my cousin Gilbert, and
Not,
that
not,
blew my
not
mind.
that's fucking old school.
That's
He's saying cassettes, y'all.
Yeah, and the thing is, George Lopez, when he does his accent voice, I guess, whatever.
Yeah.
But that sounds like my grandma. I mean, I'm sure that sounds like everyone's grandma,
Right. Right.
and all it did was it just sounded like how we talk every day.
Right.
It didn't sound any different. And I tell people all the time that to be good at stand up is you have to be funny.
Hmm.
Like somebody will come up to you and they say, "Hey, you do stand up?" And right away they go, "Are you funny?" Like, like, of course I am.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna walk around all arrogant. Like I would not try to do this if I didn't think I was. I wouldn't be 14 years into doing something without thinking I am. And so you could be as funny as hell, right?
Hmm.
I'm sure someone in your family that is extremely funny,
Oh
but
yeah.
guess what? They're not good at stand up. So you have to be able to be good at both.
Right.
It's like you see these guys basketball park, they're balling, they're schooling. But
Right.
guess what? There's something that kept them from going to the NBA, from playing organized ball, you know. So
Right.
you have to be able to blend both, you know.
Well,
Um,
putting the time and the
yeah,
dedication, right? Put
yeah.
in the work.
Yeah, there's it's a sacrifice, you
Yeah.
know. Some people don't think so. And I know a lot of friends and a lot of family, they'll see you doing stand up and they go, all you're doing is joking around.
Hmm.
That's it. You're out late at night drinking,
Right.
waking up late. You're not doing anything. They don't know, like, when as soon as you say the word sacrifice, you know,
Right.
that's
Or
exactly what it is.
or how about the other one? Oh, I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And people come up to me. It's disgusting the way somebody can talk to you for 2 seconds, think that something's funny, and say you can use that in your set. You know,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
that's like me putting on a band-aid to someone that cut their hand
yeah.
and thinking that I can do surgery, you know?
Hmm.
That's like, it's no, slow down, you
Slow
know?
your roll, bro.
And like I tell people all the time, because we do a lot of dive bars, we practice. You got to practice in, in the garage, you know.
Hmm.
And so we get a lot of people that'll say, "I'm funnier than you. I'm funnier than you." Yeah, you might be funnier than me, but you're not brave enough.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just not, you know, because if you're funnier than me, you might be funnier than me for 2.3 seconds, but then you're done,
Right.
you know.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely, you're right. You're right on that because it takes a level of balls to get up there on stage because I mean you and I know you've been doing it longer than me, but I mean early on I found out how this game, how crazy this can be, and how brutal it can be sometimes, but yeah, I mean, for someone to get up on stage and stand there for like 5 minutes and tell jokes, that's not easy. No.
It's still not easy, you
Yeah.
know. Even 14 years in, you know, it's you never can walk in and think, oh, you got this. And that's a
Yeah.
lot of the times I don't plan on anything.
Hmm.
I don't plan to be funny. I don't plan to have a good set. I just trust that I've put in the work and that I can have as good of a set as I could trust myself to have, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah. What so you've been doing it 14 years. So how old are you now? Like
I'm 39. I'll be 40 this March.
so you did it. You started what 25?
25. Yeah, I
25.
started when I was
What
25. Yeah.
what was that like? Like your first mic, and where did you do your first mic? Yeah.
My first mic that I ever did was at Rooster T. Feathers, and I will forever love that club, forever love the staff, come and go. You know, it's like a mom and pop
Yeah.
shop, you know, to me.
Yeah.
You know, as a comic, you're gonna do everything. I've done top of a roof, I've done basements, I've done backyards, I've done trucks, I've
Yeah.
done every,
Yeah.
you know. But when I first started, I wanted to make sure that I was a little bit older. I had done something, and that I wasn't just some like punk kid, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Uh, so I took some time, and I wanted to make sure that I knew what I wanted to do with it. And then I had emailed a bunch of people,
Hmm.
and I met this guy on my MySpace. He saw a picture of a cartoon comic on my MySpace, and
Yeah.
he said, "Hey, are you a comedian?" I said, "No, but I wish I was. I wish I knew where to go."
Yeah.
And so then this guy, the stranger, just started sending me links of different comedy clubs in the area
Hmm.
and all different open mics and places to go. So I started emailing, calling. I got no luck.
Hmm.
There's no open mic scene. There's no scene in San Jose.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like going to San Francisco for 5 minutes, even though this was something I wanted to do, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so then I had messaged Rooster T. Feathers. I messaged Heather, and they have an annual amateur new talent showcase comedy competition that they do every year. And so that thing starts in January. So I messaged her around that time, and I got a message back saying, "Oh, sorry, we're not doing it right now, blah blah blah." So I just took that as a no, you know.
Hmm.
I was like, "All right, I tried. It's not gonna happen for me," you know.
Right. Right.
Um, And so then I got a message back in May saying, "Hey, we're gonna open back our open mic, our regular open mic again. Would you be interested?" And right away I said, "Heck yeah, I'm down. Hell yeah, I'll do that." And so then I got the email back and it says confirmed June 26th. And
Nice.
I was just shaking. I was like, what did I sign up for? I had
Nice.
seen it, like I said, I had seen it, but I had never done it before.
Yeah.
I had never even seen stand up live. I
So
only saw it to be for the first time that I went up.
so did you go with someone, or did you go dolo? What ended up happening?
So that showcase at Roosters, it used to be, it's not what it is today, and no disrespect to them,
Hmm.
but it used to just be like everybody would bring like 10 or 15 people. It used to be just insane.
Mm,
There's a lot of people that I started with that I wish were still around because man, I wish I could tell those stories of those guys.
right.
There's a lot of comics that kind of just fade away, or they just kind of like, and
Yeah.
and sometimes I get down on people. I get down on people because I know they got the potential, and they don't really care so much. But I have to remember that not everybody is in it for the same thing. Not everybody is in it to go the distance. Some people do it just for whatever. But I miss the people that I started with, and there are still a good group of people that are around from those early days, and just to talk about when it first started, it was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my first time going up, I mean, I started writing about 2 weeks
Yeah.
before I was going up, just to kind of have an idea. And people found out that I was going to perform stand up, and
Hmm.
so I was still one of the funniest people in our group, all ego aside, just
Yeah.
all joke and joke and joke. I know how to do that,
Yeah.
and so like the word got out. And then I had 75 people show up to see my first set.
What?
Yeah, I couldn't have 75 people show up today if I said it was my last show ever. I'd
Damn,
get like I'd get like 40 people.
that's
Yeah.
insane.
Well,
That's an
it's
insane
the truth.
number.
It's the truth, but it's yeah. So I had 75 people, and for your first time, you get 5 minutes,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Yeah.
So since I had so many people, I had 12 minutes my first time ever,
Oh
and
man.
I had a list of jokes. Some of the jokes that I had was real corny. It was the how the Wizard of Oz Munchkins. How who would have thought that the whole town knew how to sing and dance?
Hmm.
Real corny.
Yeah.
And I used to have a joke about how my MySpace was Mexican. How it's not run by Tom, it's run by Tomas. How people want to get on my top eight, but we have a top ocho, and that we don't have spam mail, that we have chorizo mail. That was the simple basic setup
Yeah.
joke like that. Um, and then I had a joke about how people were trying to get multiple pictures on their MySpace. I did a joke about my brother getting caught smoking weed in the house, and I mean, like I riffed so much of it. It was almost like I felt like I exploded. Like I just got things out. Like I just had to get those words out.
Right.
And and then when I was done, I walked outside,
Hmm.
and I was just like I feel sweaty, my eyes blurry. It all happened real quick, and then my uncle Frank grabbed me over the shoulder. He put his arm around my shoulder, and he goes, "Fuck, you did it,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Damn, you're right. That was crazy,"
That's
and I was just like, "Okay, I can't stop now."
that's excuse me. Man, that's an awesome story. You know what? Okay, you end up doing your first open mic. Um, like you just said, you can't stop now. So after that first open mic, you end up breaking your hymen. Was that? Did you hit the ground running? Was it addictive at that point? Like, did you get that initial rush of it? I guess.
Yeah, yeah, but I also had no idea what was ahead of me,
Yeah.
So my second show I did was at Roosters, and it was about 6 weeks later.
Okay.
And if I did a show today and then I didn't do another show for 6 weeks, you'd think I would quit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's how small the scene was back in the day,
Right. Right.
where six weeks in between wasn't like a big deal, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I used to work at the airport at the time on the runway,
Mm-hmm.
and I would get off work at 8 o'clock, and the show starts at 8 o'clock. And the one thing about Roosters is they have a lot of rules that are real basic that you have to learn, and you can go a long way with just those simple rules, you know.
Mm. Okay.
I broke them all learning them, you know. I used to drink a lot before. It was nerve-wracking to get on
Yeah.
stage, you
Yeah.
know. And then I would drink at the venue. I would drink before, and I would show up like not late, but I would show up like 15 minutes late, which is still late, you
Yeah.
know. And what people don't understand is you want everything from the club.
Yeah.
You know, the club doesn't need you. There's other comics out there.
Right.
You know, if you fit in with the club and you can start a relationship with the club, then you'll be wanted, you
Yeah.
know. But if you're gonna act, you know, like a kid, they don't need you,
Yeah.
you know. So
Very
my
important.
second show, yeah, my second show ever was at Roosters, and I remember somebody spilled a beer on the soundboard,
Mm.
and everything was out. And they were like, "Do you guys want to do the show still?" And I had people there, and I was like, "Let's go, let's do it." But my voice was shot because I worked at the airport on the runway, so I did a lot of shouting, you know,
Oh.
over airplanes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people couldn't hear my voice from the fourth row back. Yeah, I would just be mid-word,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it would just, you know, right in the very back. And so then I wanted to quit.
Mhm.
I was like, this. I had a bad set, you know, and I'm like, this isn't working out. I didn't know what to
Yeah.
do, you know. So then I wanted to quit, and I messaged Heather, and she said, you know, if I was you, I wouldn't quit. You haven't really, you know, figured out what you want to do. You know, you're fine. You haven't hit the bottom.
Yeah.
Just it's just one bad show. And I was like, you know, you're right.
Yeah.
You know, you're right. And so then I just started hitting every mic I possibly could. To um I started going to Vacaville. I
Hmm.
started going to a little bit of spots in San
Yeah.
Francisco, you know, everything. And then I met a lot of people that way.
Yeah.
And then when you meet a lot of people that are doing the same thing that you're doing, you don't feel so alone.
Yeah.
You don't,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and you start to see people that are real funny not have good sets, and you're like, oh, that's normal. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
supposed to happen, you know. Nowadays, you see people not have a good set on an open mic, and they'll go on Facebook and they'll cry about it,
Mhm.
you know. And what happens? Everybody goes, "Don't worry, you're fine." Like, no, you have to be able to get through those bad sets on your own, you know.
Bombing, right? Bombing. Yeah.
Yes, yes, you know, and like I say, there's no bombing at open mics.
Hmm.
There's no bombing. The only time you bomb is when you don't do a set, you know.
Hmm.
That's just how I feel.
That's
If you're at
that's an
home,
interesting take on it. That's
yeah, I mean, if you're at home just being lazy and you're watching everybody doing open mics, you're gonna start to see those same people getting showcases.
yeah.
Just because you're funny doesn't mean that you're gonna get booked,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine said, Mike Betancourt, someone that I started off with, he says, you have to ask. No one's going to ask you. You have to ask them,
Yeah.
hey, can I do your show? And then you do good. And guess what? People that also book shows that saw you do good will start to ask you, you
Right.
know,
Right.
you have to put yourself out there.
No, that's a good lesson because like I mentioned, I'm like 2 years in.
Hmm.
Um, when I first started out, I was like, you know, like you said earlier, you know, like, am I built for this? Do I want to do this? Like, you know,
Yeah.
how am I gonna go about this? I'm fucking blind. Like I'm you know, I'm putting myself way out there. So and
Yeah.
so like when I started out, there was an open mic here. It was a mixed mic, and and when I did my first mic, there was no comedians. I was
Yeah.
like, and my I guess my expectation, or I guess you can say expectation, but I thought I was gonna see some other comedians, and I went to that mic like maybe 3 4 weeks in a row, and no comedians at all, and I was like what, like what's going on here, like I want to see other comedians that I want to learn, and and so I'm trying to soak up as much as information as I can. So I want to pick up some lessons and stuff. Like, okay, how are they approaching their sets? What things that I need to do or not do. Just small things like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, like it was all like a stepping stone. Like each lesson taught me a little bit of like how to go about do comedy and things at an open mic and it's and like you said like to put yourself out there you got to ask, and I didn't know that in the beginning. So um like and that's a very very key lesson because yeah, as you go along doing comedy and all these open mics, because like I said, in the beginning I was just doing mics, and I'm seeing other people doing shows here around town, and then eventually I stumbled upon it. One of the guys I know in town like put me on his birthday showcase,
Hmm.
and so it was like, oh, cool. Like, so I was able to get on at least on the showcase. So what's next? Like, and then that was kind of the thing. You run into a lot of these people, like at every mics. You get to know each other, and you kind of build a like a relationship, uh, uh, as comedians, and then whomever puts on the show, like I either like you said you ask, or if you're funny enough they'll message you, they'll hit you up like, hey, get on my show and you know um let's do this. So it's just it's a very important thing to learn early on, I guess. um
Yeah, a lot of it is too like like it's you kind of you grow together with
yeah,
people,
yeah,
and it's kind of like, and at the same time, some people you'll get a chance that you might not have gotten from someone that you don't know.
yeah.
If you only have about 10 minutes that you feel comfortable with,
Hmm.
and you're still working on that next 2 or 3 minutes to get you to 15
Yeah,
minutes, somebody might give you that chance and say, hey, you're ready, do it. And then you'll say in your mind, oh, damn, this person believes in me. I want to do good for this person. And I also want to do good for myself,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and say you have a hot crowd
yeah.
and you have those two jokes that you're still working on.
Hmm.
There's nothing like a hot crowd to get those jokes that you're working on
Uh-huh.
to hit. There's nothing like that.
Yeah,
You almost can't do anything wrong. If the crowd is on your side, you could take that chance.
yeah,
And like if I'm working on new jokes, I like to do jokes at work. I like to get the crowd going and then try something, that may or may not work,
yeah.
and just to test and to see how I'm gonna react and recover from that.
Okay. Hey, that brings me to my next point. Like, what is your process like when it comes to writing? Do you write your material out? Do you write on stage? What's your process?
I don't write. I'm more of a thinker. I don't. I
Nice.
wish. I mean, and I don't want to sit here and say I wish I was a writer, because I guess whatever works for you works for you. Because I see a lot of people that'll write and write and write and write and write, and when they get on stage, they'll take that notebook, and it sounds so heavy when it hits the stool. It's like,
Right.
wow, flap. It's this big old book, and you've been writing all day. You've been writing for hours, and guess what? You have to remember all those words, or else you're gonna mess up, and it's gonna throw you off.
you know, I'm,
So I don't.
I'm glad you said that because like for me, um, I like my writing style or whatever you want to call it. I I I don't really write like you said. I'll put down notes or I'll put it into my recorder, But when
Yeah.
you said you're a thinker, I subscribe to that, bro. Because like that's kind of what I do. Like every day, I'll just
Hmm.
be in my head. Like I like I said, I'll jot down some stuff. I don't write out all my bits. Like it's like when I write down or text it to myself or on the phone, it's just a couple of words to kind of like jot my memory kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't write out like extensive, like, okay, setup, punchline, setup, whatever. You know how you know certain people do that and break it down as far as their writing material, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm glad you said that. Like I was like, man, like because that's synonymous with a lot of comedians, right? They got their joke book, writing. They write out their shit. The
Yeah.
yeah, So I'm glad you said that. That's cool.
I mean, you cannot write as fast as you can think. You know, even on a keyboard, which is a little bit faster than type than actually writing,
Hmm.
you can't write as fast as you think,
Hmm.
especially on stage. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I ran into a comic recently, and he was like, man, I haven't done this in so long. I try to write everything down, and I just couldn't do it. I go, dude, you don't put that pressure on
Uh
yourself.
huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Just you've done the work, you know what to do.
Right.
um a lot of people, it's harder right now because some people aren't as fresh or as hot and or quick as they like to be.
Hmm.
And I don't know, some people just can do it, some people can't. I don't know what's going on. Some people are hitting mics, some people aren't.
Yeah.
But like I said, comedy is already hard enough
Yeah.
to do. There's so much that goes into it. Well, are there people there? Okay, there's people there. Okay, well, the show's outside. Okay, well, is it cold? Well, can I get a drink? And I am I going to be able to sit down? Or does my girlfriend got to pay to get in? Is there parking? Those are all things that, like, if you can just show up to a show and just walk right up, awesome. But chances are, if that's how it works for you, you've made it already. You're a star. Like Kevin Hart just drives up to the venue, everything's set, doesn't worry about nothing.
Mhm.
You do the work, but it's you have to let your mind just be open.
Mhm.
Especially the way I do it. And I'm not bragging or nothing about not being able to write, but it's like I have more fun when I'm just letting my mind just run its course,
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
no, I totally 100% in agreement with that. Yeah, because like I said, having a joke book or whatever, like fucking 100 pages of fucking material, like it's so synonymous with a comedian and stuff. And some people, it works for them. They're nerds like that. But to hear you say that, that makes me feel good because, like, yeah, man, I just keep everything in my head, like, yeah, because people ask me, like, damn, how do you write, like, do you have stuff written down? It's like, no, no, I just have it in my head. It's like,
Yeah, and for you, okay, so let me ask you, since you're blind, do you have any visual at all? I mean,
very little, man. I'm
very little.
very
So
little.
so even if you were to write your jokes down,
Mhm.
how would you see your notes while you're on stage? Like your mind is almost like trained for this, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes completely sense completely because I even thought about that. I was like, dang, if I had notes or if notes in braille, like when I'm on stage and I'm reading it and then I'm spitting out words, like that's that looks ridiculous. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading it from my hand because obviously with braille you got to use your hand, and then I'm gonna have to talk to the audience, like it doesn't look appealing.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the same time, like, I actually did this one time. I have a recorder, and I actually brought it on stage at an open mic once, and I mean it was cool, like, but like when I look back on it, like I didn't really need it. I didn't really need it. Like I was like, you know what, like I'm pretty good with my memory, That's the other
Hmm.
thing with me. And I was like, you know what? I could just do without this. I mean, I'll keep it in handy just if I forget something, or I can look back at my notes or whatever material I had, or whatever bit. Um, but a lot of the times, yeah, like I'm ready to go. Like um, showtime, boom, let's do it. I don't need to obviously look at anything, so
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. You know. Um. So you brought up MySpace earlier, and
Hmm.
um, I did a little bit of research, man, before I had you on and stuff. I was like, all right,
Hmm.
who the heck is Pete Munoz? And so I went on the YouTube, and I don't know if you remember this. I think this is on your channel. But I saw a clip. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it says it was from like 11 years ago at the Ice House. Was that you?
Yeah, I've got 3 videos from the Ice House. Yeah.
Nice. And that was the young Pete Munoz right there, man.
Super young. Yeah, super young.
Man.
That was there was a lady, Bobby Oliver, she still does shows.
Hmm.
It was like a little, I think they had a class and then a showcase. But you'd have to sell tickets to do that show.
Mm.
And I just was like, let me just pay the $100.
Uh-huh.
When you're a new comic, you just learn,
Right.
and if it's not about money. It's just like, let me just get on that stage, that hot crowd,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, and I was just riffing on those shows. I just had a lot of fun,
Yeah.
and then I was able to get those recorded. They sent them to me, and those are clips that I have up on my, some of the only clips that I have up of my stand up, and they're all old. Like why would I want to put up any new stuff when if you want to see who I really am,
Hmm.
then come to a show.
Yeah. No, that's a good point as well. But yeah, man. I saw that. I was like, wow, that's pretty funny. I don't know if you still do those jokes. But you had the one about the Asian one. The stick. That was pretty funny. And then at the end, I think your closer was like about the shoe or something.
Yeah, that was one of my early jokes. I mean, that's a joke that everybody has,
Yeah.
where the mom throws the shoe at you. But like, what is there like some kind of law, that like only one person gets to tell that joke? Everyone's had that experience.
Yeah.
And it's not like someone handed me $1 million and said, "Here you go."
Yeah.
You know, it's just a joke that I was learning.
Yeah.
And the joke I used to see, like I do with that, was like, we didn't get hit, we got the shoe thrown at us,
Yeah.
and I was running through the hallways like Ricky and Boys in the Hood, and so then I would do the heartbeat, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that was something that I learned from Pablo Francisco. He does the same thing.
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
gonna sit
Yeah.
here and
Yeah.
say I don't say I ripped them off,
Yeah.
but I knew that I can do that, so I'm doing it. I did it as well.
Yeah.
I threw it in, and you're just learning.
Yeah.
And I said I was running through the hallways like Ricky from Boys in the Hood. My mom threw the shoe, and it missed, and it hit the heater, and flames came out of the heater.
Yeah.
And it toasted half the side of my body. I could have been sold at Quiznos that day.
Yeah.
And then I say, that's why I wish I was
Asian.
Asian, because
Yeah.
they leave
The
their
shoes
shoes
outside.
outside. It's just like, and then, but that's what I like about that joke. It's like that joke covers Ricky from Boys in the Hood,
Yeah.
and it covered Quiznos, and it
Yeah.
covered
Right.
Asians.
Well, that was a perfect setup because like there was Asians in the crowd, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And then to close with that, I mean, you got them
yeah.
right there.
Yeah, those shows were a lot of fun. I'm very fortunate I was able to do those shows with Bobby Oliver, and be in front of those big crowd. And you know what I did? I drove to those shows by myself in the morning, and
Hmm.
I drove right back.
Hey, that's dedication, right?
Yeah,
That's dedication. Um, all right. You've been doing comedy for 14 years, and like I've learned this or heard about this. Like 10 years is like the mark of like like okay, you're now officially a comedian, right? That's kind of the thing.
True.
Are you do you subscribe to that theory?
Yeah. I mean, it depends what you're chasing after,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So there's people that are chasing after, working road comics. Yeah, that's what I want to be, but I like to do my shows like a band, like that's where George Lopez is a big influence because
Hmm.
George Lopez will be like in Texas on Tuesday and then he'll be like in Arizona on Thursday,
Hmm.
He doesn't just do a whole weekend at a time. He's like a band. He travels like the circus in and out of town,
Right, right.
and so there's people that want weekends, and then there's people that are all over, so and I mean, even at 10 years, when I was 10 years, that's when I started to feel like, okay, I can call myself that.
Right,
Because
right.
for the longest time, I'm like, I'll still say it. Like, I'm not a comic. If I quit today, no one's really gonna miss me.
Yeah.
It's not like I have big jobs lined up or it's a
Yeah.
big loss of money.
Yeah.
I'm just a guy who's still trying to do stand up.
Yeah.
But it's a lot of fun. I don't get mad at the process. You can't follow someone else and be like, how come this guy's getting that?
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
funnier than you have to worry about yourself,
Yeah. No, that's important.
you
That's
have to
good.
focus. And maybe that's the wrong word, worrying about yourself. You have to just focus on yourself.
Yeah. You kind of mentioned something else earlier as well. I think uh like yeah, like doing comedy. Um, uh, like yeah, like what do you say about okay? Like you said, worry about yourself. I mean, I guess you can't dictate what another person how they go about doing things as far as comedy when it comes to comedy
Yeah.
like um I guess what I'm trying to say is that you know like okay, a lot of people are doing Zoom now. There's few far in between when it comes to mics and stuff or showcases. Um, but should like okay, it's the pandemic. Yes, we're dealing with that. But if you're a comedian at this point in time, um, like can you blame other people? Like okay, yeah, no, I don't want to do Zoom. No, I don't want to go do mics right now because it's pandemic. Like, what do you say to people like that? Like,
I, the way I see, and I don't mean to offend anybody.
yeah,
I mean, it's been thrown out there a couple times. A lot of people have said it, that a lot of these people that aren't doing Zoom, they're the hobbyists. They're the ones that don't really care about stand up. I don't know. I'm sure that's not 100% true.
hmm
Some people might have shitty Wi-Fi. There's all kinds of reasons, but but comedy's hard. Stand up comedy's hard. Open mics are hard. And then doing it in your room where that's just a different atmosphere is hard.
hmm
And a lot of people are doing Zoom shows sitting down.
hmm
Like, when those are the same people that don't do stand up sitting down in real life, at bars and shows. So why would you sit down and make yourself less mobile? You know,
hmm
you're taking one of the funnest parts away from stand up, being able to jump around, being able to do a kick or fling your arm or rip open your jacket or something that adds animation to your set.
yeah,
And I tell people, like, hey, stand up. If you're at home and you're feeling uncomfortable, stand up.
yeah,
you know that could change the way you see it.
yeah.
So I think just a lot of people, just it's different.
Hmm.
A lot of people are you know they don't know how to do it. you know
Well, okay, specifically, I know that I'm not gonna mention any names, but I was talking to a comedian uh, buddy of mine that I know, um, and like you said, like different things happen, and they're like you said, bad Wi-Fi connection. They're probably doing, they're working 9 to 5, whatever,
hmm
getting that money. But uh, like from listening to what he had to say, I was like, I mean, that's cool. You're getting your money. That's awesome. But I think if you're a comedian and you know you're committed to this, um, and you want to do this, and I see the potential in him too. And but I'm hearing sort of excuses like it's like
Yeah.
oh like yeah like what do you think about that type of thing?
There's excuses during Zoom. There's a lot of excuses not during Zoom. You
Mm-hmm.
know, there's excuses everywhere for everything, and it's what people always say. There, some people are just afraid to succeed. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah.
um, I did a show. I did a draft party, a show for someone's draft party before at their house, and they're like, "Hey, this guy's hella funny. Let's get him up. Let's get him up." And this guy was with his friends
Mm-hmm.
in a public setting, like their backyard. Like nobody would have saw, it, but he was chicken. He was so scared to do it. It's like, dude, just do it. Just do it.
Right.
But there's excuses everywhere.
Right.
There was a time where we would go to San Francisco, everybody would get up, and then they're like, all right, what spot do you want? And I'd be like, nah, I'm not gonna get up, like for no reason,
Oh yeah,
just
yeah,
for no
yeah, yeah,
reason,
yeah,
yeah, no, I'm not gonna do it. Like, come on, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm just not gonna do it, like just for no reason, you
yeah,
know?
yeah. You rolled up there in a big group, and then like right then and
Yeah,
there at that moment, you're like, well, so and so is like, nah, not tonight, I guess.
yeah.
um, okay. So yeah, like talk about uh, you mentioned Woodham's. What is Woodham's, and can you speak about that?
That is that's the open mic that I've been running for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Um, wow, it will be eight. We're gonna have to have our 8 year anniversary in April.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, hopefully, because everything shut down right before the anniversary. Luckily enough, I got my birthday in. We'll do my birthday and then the anniversary. I like to do the anniversary. It's an unofficial date, but
Yeah.
whatever is closest to 408, because that's our zip code
Yeah.
and it's in Santa Clara, but San Jose. And so just I don't even know how me and Amanda were friends. She's the owner, her and Ray, her husband.
Mm-hmm.
And so I hit Amanda up and I said, "Hey, you want to do stand up?" She was like, "No, we just took over the place. We want to take our time, with events." So then I started seeing that they do karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
She's real good at karaoke. If you're a young comic out there and you want to start a room, ask the places that do karaoke. Um,
Okay.
and so then I asked her again, and she goes, "Well, we'll think about it." So then I asked her one more time, and she says, "Okay, let's do it." I asked her on a Friday.
Uh-huh.
She says, "How many people can you have here?" I go, "I can have about 20, 30 people guaranteed. It'll be a fun show." So we did it. I got the message approval on a Friday. I went to Sacramento, did some shows with a couple buddies, came back on Monday, and we've been doing it ever since.
Mm.
The show used to be 5 hours. We used to get close to, we've gotten 50 comics a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just the spot, it was just a spot. I feel like it still is the spot, especially with the location.
Yeah.
We have no walk through traffic at all. We have a couple of apartments. It's like car dealerships,
Mm.
and that place just it hits.
Nice.
And I get to host for up to 5 hours a night. I can't let them know how I'm so grateful for that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's been super essential to me growing and staying sharp and meeting new comics. And we'll get comics from LA that come through and say there's nothing like this. And we get people that are regulars now that and so I'll be doing that tonight on Zoom. That'll be my Zoom show tonight.
Yeah, check it out, y'all. He does Woodham's on Zoom as well. So what time is that usually? Like 7?
7 o'clock,
7
yeah.
7 p.m. So check that out. Um yeah, that's 5 hours, man. Like that's insane. Like um a lot of times when I hit mics, especially out here, um probably tops like 2 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours normally. So man, 5 hours. Like what time is the start time for that?
We would start at 9, get done by 1:30. Yeah. So sometimes we start at 8.
Yeah,
I only do the show at 7 o'clock because it's online,
yeah, yeah.
and we get East Coast people all over and stuff like that. So I just, I know that it's late for them, and it was the same way when we were live. Like if we had Jackie Pearl is 20 minutes away, and she's like, "Hey, I'm coming from Sacramento. I'm closer to your room than I am to my house.
Hmm.
So I'll get up on stage. I'll do 15, 20. I'll stretch
Hmm.
so that they can still get their time."
That's cool. You mentioned Jackie Pearl. I I I I follow you on Facebook and stuff,
Hmm.
and um what is it? You actually know some of the people I know out here, especially in the
Hmm.
219, like Connor Martin, right?
Yeah.
Connor, Saul Trujillo. He's from out here. You mentioned Jackie. She's I've seen her around the mics in Sacramento, and she comes out here to Stockton
Yeah.
as well from time to time. And so that's cool. Like we know some of the some people that I've met uh, ever since I started doing comedy.
Yeah.
Um, um, so yeah, like have you done shows with those guys? Like, or how did you get to like connect with them? I guess.
Yeah. Those are some good people. And so let me see, about 8 months into doing stand up, I got banned from the improv.
Mm,
I had a showcase here, got into it with the manager, learned another lesson, and then I
hmm.
started hitting everything else. I started going everywhere.
Yeah.
So I started going to Fairfield, which is, it's not really Sacramento, but it's a little bit out there. It's on the way.
Hmm.
And so it's near Vallejo. I met a bunch of people, David Liu, Miles Weber, all these guys that were just starting.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like you go there, that place is gone now. But, once I started branching out, I started meeting more people. And there's a lot of good people, there's a lot of bad people too,
Yeah. Yeah.
but the good ones are the ones that you can go on the road with
Right.
and handle being in a car. It's not about just doing a show.
Hmm.
When you're on the road with somebody, that's your mother, your brother, your sister. That's your family when you're on the road.
Right.
So it's good to do stuff, to do shows. Me, Saul, Taylor, and Connor went to Oregon together, and you just have each other's back.
Yeah.
If someone's hungry, you get them something. If someone is needs water, you get them something, and you learn that right
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
You start to appreciate, like when I was on stage, like I'd get back, like, hey, your food's here. We covered it, so it would be warm.
Yeah.
Little stuff, things like that.
Yeah.
And then you realize, okay, like the more that spreads and more people are like that, the better shows are gonna be. You're gonna be in a better mood. You're gonna want to get out there more. There's so much that goes into it.
Well, and you're gonna want that too down the line, because
Yeah,
like to build a strong connection with a fellow comedian, you want to be able to you know not only build that relationship, but that strong connection. Like, all right, man, you got my back, I got yours. Like you said, when it comes to traveling, you gotta want the right people in place.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's definitely relationship that you want to build with other comics.
mhm. um, I seen this on I guess somewhere on a thread, or on Facebook or something. I think like, how do you feel about like um when people burn bridges? I guess or like other comedians talk about either other comedians, or certain venues, like, oh, okay, like do you think that that whatever they say, is that a right thing, or is that a no in comedy?
Um, Here's what I tell people all the time is like, do you get along with all your coworkers? You're not going to get along with all your coworkers. And for me, I think it's best to just stay away from bashing people, like especially publicly.
Hmm.
Fuck, I mean, like we're it's weird because comics will talk shit, and
Yeah.
I'm no saint. I will not sit here and act like I don't talk shit about people. But if it's gonna cause a lot of drama, just don't even go down that route.
Hmm.
I've been through feuds with people back and forth where I've tried to make up and I've tried to be friends to the point where I can at least be civil with somebody,
Hmm.
but it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get along with everybody. Some people will hate your guts for
Hmm.
no reason because somebody else said something about you.
Yeah.
And it'll happen. You can't let it bother you, and you just gotta, like I said, not not worry about yourself, but just focus on yourself.
Yeah. That's what's up. Um, so during this pandemic, I've noticed that you've done some shows in the Bay Area, like some parking lot parking lot stuff with driving stuff.
Yeah.
What what's your take on that whole thing? Because like for me, um, like I've also done the Zoom thing. Obviously, I've been on your show several times. It's a lot of fun. Um, and also live shows. Like when I'm out there, like I'll try to be careful. Like I'll bring my mask and stuff. Like sometimes I'll post stuff and then like a picture and then I don't have a mask on. It doesn't mean that I wasn't I was being careless or anything like that, because I'm kind of seeing this little trend where, like, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, okay, uh fucking yeah, I don't do shows because I want to make sure that we beat this thing. We're we stay safe, da da da. But like on one hand, like for me personally, like like I said, I'll try to be follow the guidelines, but at the same time, I as a comedian, like I want to get out there as well. Like so like I like I said, you've done some shows. Like what's your take on the whole thing?
Some of those shows I don't even touch the mic. I won't I won't even touch the mic, like yeah, it's a risk. It's a risk. All of them are.
Yeah.
But most of the shows, I will say all the shows that I have done have been safe. They have a different mic.
Yeah.
Everyone's out there. I have sanitizer
Yeah.
in my hand. I have a mask. I perform with my mask on most of the time too. I was in Vegas where I didn't even use the mic. I spoke. I did my set without a mic. Um, but some people want to perform live. That's their choice. So it's a scary thing, but as long as you're clean and you're safe and you're doing things the way they want us to do them, I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm like for me personally, I'm careful. I try to follow the guidelines. Like actually, I've been tested. I've done the COVID test. I'm good. And but like I saw, I saw this one post. I was like, um, just straight up hating on it. I was like, man, like fuck you, man. Like,
Yeah.
it's like okay, whatever. I mean, I didn't. I kind of wanted to respond, but I was like, fuck, it's not worth it. Like whatever. It's like they don't know, what, how I'm going about it. So whatever. um, but yeah, what is this? I think you got a show coming up in the 209 area, right?
Oh
Or
yeah, I'll be in Modesto on Thursday.
yeah, I saw that. The homie Eric Powers. I think that's his
Yep.
thing, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
yeah. Uh, uh, Break that down. Like, how'd you, you know Eric? Um,
Yeah, I've known Eric for a while. I've known Gloria for a little bit longer. I did a show with Eric and Gloria in Modesto about a year ago.
mhm.
I love going out uptown. I practice and I work out here and going on the road and doing a show in Modesto,
Yeah.
even though it's an hour away. that's still on the road. That's a different crowd. It's a different environment. It's different people than where you're normally at. So
Right.
to get out and to do shows with those guys, I mean, it's already sold out. It's been sold out for a week.
Nice.
So, and then, like I said, the less you have to worry about knowing that the show is sold out when you get there, that the crowd is going to be good.
Hmm.
I can't wait for Thursday.
How many people's on that show?
I think about five or six. I know me and Daul Namyar and Ivy Cordova are on it.
Okay.
It's gonna be awesome.
Like, are you headlining that or?
I'm last on the flyer. I don't know if I'm headlining, but I know that I'm last on the flyer. It doesn't say headliner by my name,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the last time that I was there, they had the flyer on the door,
Uh-huh.
and there were some other flyers over everybody's face except for me.
Yeah.
So it was like that. It was like that scene in Monsters Inc. where they're on a commercial, and then all the words pop up on the screen, and it covers the guy's face, and he's like, "What?" And so that's that's kind of how I felt like but I'll be ready. I'll be ready for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever amount.
What time is that show?
That show's at 8 o'clock, I
8 o'clock.
believe.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Cool.
I don't even know because before I could even see the flyer,
Hmm.
the word "sold out" was put right over the information. So
Who knows? You might do like an hour. I don't know, 40 minutes. I don't
we'll see.
know.
We'll see. Yeah.
Speaking of that, what's your longest set at this point?
2 hours.
Woo, two
Yeah,
hours. Well, where
yeah.
did you do that one at?
I did that at Lily Max.
Where's
Lily
that at?
Max. That's in Sunnyvale, but it was after I did a 40-minute podcast. So, yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a little bit of notes to
Yeah.
help cheat along the way, but I also had to battle the crowd. It was during the Sharks game,
Mm,
so
yeah.
I don't want to sit here and say officially, but that was the longest I had ever been on stage.
Wow, that's crazy right
And then
there.
I still left out a couple of jokes. You know,
That always happens though, right? Like we end
yeah.
up leaving like one or two jokes out. Like, oh, I wish I could have
Mhm.
done that,
Yeah.
but yeah, man. We'll wrap it up in a couple minutes here. Man, I appreciate you for coming on, doing this podcast. I
Thank you.
appreciate you as a whole,
Oh, thank
a
you.
person, man. Um, um, like how I got to know you, to kind of break it down to the audience. Um, I, I met you on Zoom, and I've seen you on there, like in the, like because I officially I think like started in July, I think late July.
Yeah.
And I've seen you on the caravan one, I think,
Hmm.
and hypothetical comedy, Mike, and and like initially I was like, damn, this dude is hilarious, and I not only that, like I love your energy, and one day, crazy story, like I ended up like reaching out to you for some reason. Like it wanted me to like somehow like reach out to you. I don't know why, but I had an issue on one of the Zoom shows because I was being offensive, uh, uh, whatever that means, because I thought I was just riffing, but I guess, and then it kind of fucked me up a little bit. So I kind of reached out to you, and I was like, damn, who do I fucking like talk to about this? Like, and so I hit you up, and it was, and we kind of had a little nice chat. Um, and then also, you kind of dropped some knowledge on me about the business and stuff, and like with all that, and that was cool, man. I totally respect that and appreciate that, and like I said, man, that's why I when I hit you up about the podcast, I was like, okay, I got to have Mr. Pete Munoz on, man, because
Oh
I
yeah.
think you're we haven't met yet in person, but hopefully we can connect one day. But I feel like you're one of the real ones out there. Um,
Well, I
so
appreciate that.
yeah, man. Totally appreciate. Anything you want to plug? Like anything shows. your social media, anything?
I mean, just all you gotta do is put my name in, you'll find me. You know, Pete Munoz. My Facebook, that's my Facebook. My Instagram is PTR David 81. That's also my YouTube channel. I usually don't care about plugging or anything like that
Yeah,
because
yeah, okay.
it doesn't. I mean, like for what? We're still growing. So just come out to a show. If you see my name around, that's all I can ask for.
Yeah, no, I feel, man. Feel you on that. You're like, hey, man, just come see the show. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. uh, well, man, bro, I appreciate it. We'll definitely uh, if I don't go on the show tonight, we'll definitely talk soon and shit. So check out his Zoom show, which is at 7 p.m. Woodham's Zoom mic virtual show. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't checked it out yet, um, check it out. Participate. It's definitely a lot of fun. Well, Pete, thank you, my man. It's been a lot of fun.
All right. Thanks a lot, Elvin.
All right, peace.
Take care.